Welcome to Leicester Fan TV. Are you ready for the show? Thanks to our sponsors, ADT Taxis, Everards, Pukka Pies, Pink Car Leasing, Leicester Riders, Hollogram, The Fox's Arms, Peter's Pizzeria, Hope Against Cancer, and Newby Co estate agents. We want your views, we want your comments, so join us live. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
We're back. Thank goodness the World Cup is over and it's back to good old Leicester City. Hope you're all well. It seems like blooming ages. I don't know about you guys, but yes, the World Cup's been quite exciting at times, but it is completely wrong and bonkers to have it this time of year. It's messing up Christmas. It's messing up Leicester. Let's get back to the football. Welcome back to Leicester Fan TV. Great to see you all. Remind me, who are you, says Keith. I know, Keith. I've forgotten how to control everything. Honestly, 2 minutes before we're coming on to the screen, I've absolutely lost control of what we're meant to be doing. We've got so much to go through as well tonight. We've obviously got Leicester going to MK Dons tomorrow night in the League Cup. We want your views, score predictions, who should start, who shouldn't start. There's a Newcastle game next week. We are drawing all these competitions that have been going on and on for the last couple of months. Tonight, you can win a case of Everards beer. Well, that's nice. Thanks to the guys at Everards. Tonight, you can win a Leicester City shirt. You can have a home shirt, you can have an away shirt, you can have the tea stain shirt, whatever you want. That's thanks to the guys at Pukka Pies. Even better, do you remember we set this competition going at the start of the season? If you're a season ticket holder, you can win your money back. Or if you're not a season ticket, you can win 500 quid. Whichever way round, we're going to pay you 500 quid. We're not going to give you a season ticket. So if you've entered any of those three competitions, tonight is the night to get the answers, and we will be drawing them live right in front of you later on. Ross is going to MK Dons tomorrow night. You'll be down there tomorrow night. I know Jake's going, Jamie's going. Are you going tomorrow night? 6,500 fans. He says we'll beat Milton Keynes. We have to. I think it's going to be easy, Ross, tomorrow. It should be easy. I'm not being funny. Look at the mess they're in the league. Look at where we are. It should be absolutely in there. LCFC Gray says, good evening. Great to have proper football back. I agree. LCFC Gray also says 4-0 tomorrow. That's what I said. Now, listen, earlier on tonight, I was actually on the football forum with Owen and Pipes on BBC Radio Leicester. So if you want to go and listen to that, do go and have a listen to that. That is on BBC Sounds. I predicted 4-0. Want to know what you guys think. Let's get as many views and comments in as we can. Dave, good evening to you. Hope you're well. Gav says, let's go smash them. I agree with you as well, Gav. Full squad tomorrow. It's got to be that sort of thing. Very, very shortly, Tom is going to be joining us and we'll get his views on what he thinks the score will be and what the team will be. Alex says he'll be there tomorrow night. 6,500 fans. I think it is. Andy, our second team should beat them. Andy, you're probably right, but I don't want to see our second team. I want to see pretty much, I think, our full first team. Who do you think should start tomorrow? Cags should start, says Mr. Mazzy. I believe Cags is still out injured for tomorrow's game. Might not be right on that, but that's my understanding. Since he'll be leaving soon as well, says Mr. Mazzy, get him playing maybe Vestergaard at some point. I want to take this game very, very seriously. John Squires, I hope you're well. Happy Christmas. And he says, let's have a 3-0 win. Nick says, does Ndidi get game time tomorrow? For me, Nick, yes, I would have Ndidi in there. I think he should be back and he should be raring to go. Mendy, been at the World Cup. I'd give him Ray and Sumari. Again, I'd rather have Ndidi. But get your views and get your comments in. Carol, I 100% agree with you. I'm not being big-headed with a big Premier League side. This should be, as you quite rightly say, a comfortable win tomorrow night. LCFC Gray says, no matters, he isn't ready. Oh, LCFC Gray, come on. He's been out in Qatar for the last 4 or 5 weeks. He's been training at a nice level, enjoying himself. Matters should be absolutely gagging to play tomorrow night, if you ask me. Ross says we need to beat Franchise FC. Not a fan of MK Dons and obviously what they did. GPM says what time's kickoff? 7:45 tomorrow. Andy says Matters getting extra time off. Not done much, Andy. Come on. Play the first team, says Gray. Should be easy, but we always do it the hard way. Obviously, we thought of Southport earlier this season. Tomorrow, says Terry. Hope you're well, Terry. It's great to have a chat with you all again. It's been so long. Terry says tomorrow should be a full team ready for Newcastle. I absolutely agree with you there. Now let's get Tom in. Tom, are you ready to come in? Here he is. Mr. Tom, how are you?
Good evening, everyone. Oh, buzzing to be back for football, mate. Absolutely
Tom,
buzzing.
it feels so weird, and this is a real talking point that fans are not going to. It's very strange for fans what's just gone on with the World Cup, and then suddenly we had a World Cup final yesterday, and we're suddenly back into football tomorrow. It's going to be strange for a lot of the players because they've almost had a lot of Leicester players, apart from six, have had a 5-6 week break, which is longer than they ever get.
It is going to be a strange situation. I mean, I'm comparing this going back to COVID when we broke up from COVID. Obviously, we didn't come back and hit the ground running after that break. So it's going to be interesting to see how we do come back after having such a good run of form we were in before this international break, as we'll call it, the World Cup break. As we saw it last time after COVID, we were very jolty, and it took us a few games to get going again, and we never really showed that full potential and missed out on the top four that season. So, after being on such a good run of form, having to stop that run to go to World Cup, players, well, like we say, coming out of the competition early, Belgium and Wales coming home early, and teams like that. Can be interesting to see how the Belgian lads get back into the groove as quick. For me tomorrow, yeah, full strength team. Go there, start the game, really get a groove going, try and get that flow back what we had before the World Cup break, and build up to Newcastle on Saturday with a comfortable win, and let's get this the game over to quickly and bring on some subs. Bring on a few of the younger lads in the game.
I want to know what everybody watching thinks. So we're going to pick a few players here, Tom, just to pick on and see where you'd go tomorrow. How seriously Brendan Rodgers is going to take it. I'm going to start off with quite a big one tomorrow. Vardy or Daka, where would you go with that debate?
I think he'll go Daka. I think he'll start Daka, and I think Vardy will start against Newcastle. He seemed quite normal for the away games that Daka starts and home games that Vardy starts in so far this season. So I don't see much changing in that, and I think he'll save Vardy for Newcastle home on Boxing Day.
So you think he's going to go with Daka tomorrow night, which is an interesting one. Let's see if anybody is getting their views in on there. Mr. Mazzy says, I think we should start Ward. I do want to talk about Ward next in this, to be fair. He says, boost from the World Cup elimination in there. Maxine saying we had so much momentum before the break. Just hope it continues, Tom.
Exactly. That was put earlier. We saw jolting the season should never have happened anyway. The World Cup should never have taken place in the middle of the season. Doesn't make sense in my view. You can end up losing a player for a long time to get injured. And also, like I say, we were flying before this international breaks, and it'd be interesting to see, as I said before, how the players respond to having to stop games. I know they've had a couple of friendlies, but then it's not the standard we've been playing at in the Premier League, and the way the team were passing and moving the ball around, we were getting back to our best before this break.
I've got an interesting comment here from Nick Moore. We're talking about Vardy or Daka there, Tom. Nick's saying, I'd like to see a bit of Nacho, to be honest. I can't see.
He could be on the right tomorrow night. You could put him out on the right-hand side because obviously Maddison ain't back for the World Cup yet. He come back end of the week. I think he's back for the Newcastle game. He'll be involved. He won't play tomorrow night, so there's a chance for, tomorrow night Daka could start on that right-hand side. We saw him at Stockport County away in the first round. He started on the right-hand side and cut in onto his left foot.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be an interesting one. Another. Somebody just mentioned Gavin Ward there again. Gavin Ward, Danny Ward. I'm living in the past with Gavin Ward. I'm about 20 years out of date, Tom. Do you remember Gavin Ward?
Gavin Ward, geez, that's going back a few years now.
Yeah.
I do remember him.
Danny Ward, obviously, or Everson.
I think it'd be unfair to drop Everson for the Cup games. He's played both of them so far this season. He got us through against Stockport. He had a steady game against Newport. Let's not deny he didn't really get tested in that. He had 1 or 2 shots, but bar that, he wasn't tested low. And I think it'd be unfair not to give him some game time. He is the number 2 goalkeeper now, and we were talking about him being the number 1 at one point when Danny Ward was out of form. So to not give him a cup game or a game over the next period, knowing how busy we're going to be, I think it'd be a bit unfair on him. But I think he will start tomorrow night in goal, Daniel Everson. He is the cup goalkeeper in my view now.
You might be right, Tom. I just think we should start Danny Ward tomorrow. I think tomorrow, one way of looking at tomorrow is potentially that it is like a pre-season game to get everybody back up to some sort of pace for the Newcastle match. Newcastle have got Bournemouth on Wednesday themselves in the Cup. So I would put Danny Ward in, Tom, but you definitely think, because I think it's just different. Everything's different because we've just had this break.
I understand what you're saying, completely understand what you're saying. I just think Rodgers has picked Everson in the first 2 rounds. I don't see him not changing that momentum just on the basis that I think he is the cup goalkeeper now, and he's probably been given the head that any cup games you will start. I wouldn't be surprised, that Gillingham away, that Daniel Everson will start in goal for that game. I just think that's the way it is at the moment. I think, look, Danny Ward, yeah, do you know what? He didn't have a bad World Cup in my view. He got beaten quite a few times, but again, could you blame him on many of them goals? I don't think so. I don't think he'll come away disheartened. I think he'll come back to a team that will put their arm around him and say, look, mate, before the World Cup, you were probably the number one keeper in the league. Let's not deny it. 5 clean sheets out of 6 or 7, was it? He was the informed goalkeeper. So, look, I don't see Danny Ward having any problems coming in against Newcastle and settling back in with a back four that he now feels comfortable with.
Andrew says here, I hope Everson starts, so he's going on the same lines as you. Jack says here from the final whistle, he says Barnes against his former loan club. Harvey Barnes on loan at MK Dons. That was a while back, Tom.
That was years ago. Franchise FC, mate. I'm not calling them MK Dons. Franchise FC.
Reedy says he would have Vardy in for the Cup and Daka in for the Premier League. Vardy gets easy goals in Cup matches. What's your thoughts on that, Tom? It's got
Completely
a point,
agree.
maybe.
I completely agree what Reedy's saying. I just think if you go on the run of form, what we've done all season this year, what Rodgers has picked on form-wise, he's always picked Vardy at home against teams. If you're looking at Man City, he played. Newport at home, he played him. Every away game, though, even the West Ham the last game before, everyone thought that Vardy was going to get picked. He didn't. He went back to Daka up front for that game. So I generally think that Daka is our away striker. Strange thing to say, but
it's a strange way to do it, Tom, isn't it, though? But that is what sort of happened.
But I feel that Rodgers' view with that is quite simple, that obviously at home, teams don't give as much space. And Daka is all about finding room in behind. He's not that poacher yet. He's not that Vardy that, yes, Vardy does like a bit of space in behind, but his game is adapted now to finding space in and around the penalty area and getting those little half chances where, for me, Daka is still very much about getting the ball in behind, running past defenders, going down the channel more, where Vardy can be bit more clever. He's a lot more old and wise at home games where the space is shut off, he will drop into the pocket and start linking up the play more. Daka doesn't offer that, and I think that's the only reason why Rodgers has gone down the route of Vardy's the home striker, Daka is the away striker, and he feels that's the way that teams can be opened up by having Vardy on a pitch in home games when you've got little but no space in behind for Daka to run into.
Another little battle for us to maybe debate, Tom, is in midfield. As far as I know, Ndidi's back and fit. Soumari's fit. I would assume Mendy has been on World Cup duty, so maybe given a little bit of extra time. So, Wilf or Boubary, where would you go with this one?
Wilf for tonight and Boubary for Saturday against Newcastle.
Well, Tom, I'm going to yeah, go on. You explain why.
I just think, once again, if you look at Rodgers' way of doing things at the moment, that Soumari's been playing, and Soumari, game against West Ham, was probably one of the best games he's had in Leicestershire. He helped set up the first goal for Barnes by sending him away down the left for the pullback for Daka and then Maddison. He's game by game, he's starting to get better and stronger. He's still sometimes get caught out on being on the ball a little bit too much, but again, with game times, he will get better and better in my view. And I just feel at the moment, Didi's form this last 6 months to 10 months is nowhere been near as good enough as it was beforehand. Beforehand, if we had Didi out of the team, you were looking at the team going, who's going to do the job we're going to lose today? Because basically, Didi didn't play, the chances we were going to either lose or draw. When he was in the team, you knew we had a very good chance. But at the moment, it hasn't been like that for the last 10 months. Even with Didi in the team, the form we've had, his form especially, it hasn't been good enough. So, look, tomorrow night, get some more games, minutes under the belt. But I think you'll probably see Soumari play against Newcastle. I think his form's been getting better and better game by game for me. But what's your opinion, Phil? Because you don't seem to agree on that one.
I mean, obviously, my memory is probably of Ndidi in his best form for Leicester, which I'd say generally Ndidi, apart from when he's injured, has been in great form, apart from this last little stint, Tom. So I'm sort of thinking, well, we've got to get in. If Ndidi's come out of this injury now and we can get him back into some match sharpness, then for me, he is a far better player than Soumari, the Soumari that I've seen so far at Leicester, Tom. But, I hear what you're saying. You've got to play. I just think Ndidi now, after that break, has got to be raring to go, Tom.
He's had a lot of injuries, mate, over the last 12 months. A lot of niggly injuries, a lot of ankle problems, hamstring problems. They keep picking up now, so hopefully he sees back of it. Don't get me wrong, a fit flying form in Diddy definitely for me gets in the team over Samari, but at the moment, and in some ways they're a different type of player. They both do the whole defensive midfielder's role, but I think Samari offers you that little bit more going forward. His vision, his range of passing, and his ability to move forward when he gets the ball, that powerful leg drive that we all see in sometimes in him. That's probably the difference and why sometimes Rodgers has picked him. But we all know Diddy does the dirty work probably a little better. He gets the ball, he wins it. And Diddy, as I said before, he's probably been asked to do stuff he's not good at, and that is try and play a few more long range passes. And Diddy's all about the 5 yard pass. Win the ball back, pass it to your centre half, pass it to the left back, the right back, let you play with your back to goal, not turn on the ball. When we see him turn, that's when I start panicking because that is when he normally gets picked off or he loses the ball. So I can understand your view on Diddy. I think if you're playing that game, what Rodgers wants to play, his defensive midfielder has to be able to play and turn on the sixpence with the ball and go forward. And sadly, in Diddy's not that kind of player for that game role.
Kaysen says good evening. Reedy says I think I'd have Mendy over both of them at the moment, but I think Ben probably sums it up. He says he'd play Sumari against MK Dons and Mendy versus Newcastle. Maybe he will be back for that. Gray says at least we've all turned up tonight, unlike Jamie from the Fox's Arms, who was too hungover to do his Sunday morning show, dropping him right in it there. And then Reedy is changing the subject slightly. We had a debate in the office today. We were picking our teams for tomorrow night. And I put a centre-back in there with Wes Fout. Still struggling with the name. Johnny Evans. I put Johnny Evans in, Tom, and I'm like, if he's fit, he's club captain. For me, he's going to get picked and he's going to get played. Reedy was like not a big fan of Johnny Evans and was trying to shoehorn everybody in there. Marty obviously been out on World Cup duty. Where would you go with the centre halves, Tom?
I love Johnny Evans and can't thank enough what he's done for this football club. But at the moment in time, it was another 16 minutes and he got taken off against Sheffield United with another injury. He's picking up a lot of injuries at the moment. What would give me concern about giving him a new contract at the end of the season? If he's picking up injury after injury, sadly for me, you've got to probably let him go at the end of the season, and you need to look for some fresh blood with experience, but someone who's not going to get injury prone. Wout Faz, there we go. Wout Faz, and for me, Daniel Amarty were flying at the moment, and I think it'd be cruel on Daniel Amarty to even think of dropping him out of the Premier League team.
But that's why I say this break, Tom. It's almost like I think you've almost got to put that to one side, haven't you? Where we were, because this is like a reboot. This is season 2.
Nah, see, I don't. I think you've got to go with a team that was winning football matches for me, because that was the team that Danny Ward was confident of having his back four in front of him. To suddenly start chopping and changing that back four again. Look, we've had to make changes like the left side because of obviously James Justin out for the season. Thomas did well in those 2 games he's played. He looked a bit shaky against West Ham, but he did all right. Did all right against Newport. It's for me, you build a team what's doing well. And for me, Cassagna on the right, Wout Faz, Daniel Martin, Thomas, now that's the rigid back four. Johnny Evans, I'd love to see get fit and come back into form, but at the moment, I think it'd be very, very harsh on Daniel Amarty to be dropped because he is playing very well. Yes, he can make you nervous sometimes. Don't get me wrong. I love Daniel Amarty, but he's sometimes always a clanger in him if he needs to. But at the moment in time, that back four is what is Danny Ward is getting used to. Danny Ward is keeping clean sheets, 5 out of 7. You don't change a winning team, in my view. So the team itself shouldn't really change much. The team that was winning football matches before this break, and Johnny Evans at the moment, he needs to get fit for me. Tomorrow night, yes, I would start him away at MK Dons, but Newcastle at home, I'd go back to Daniel Amarty and Wout Faz for the back two.
Tom, are you all right to stick around? I'm going to draw one of these competitions and then we'll get you back in. So I'm going to bring Tom back in there. We've got 3 competitions that we've been running over the last couple of months, and we're going to draw one of the first ones now. So hopefully you can see behind me, this is for people who entered to win a case of Everards beer. So thanks a lot to everybody who's entered to this. We've got 2 more competitions. One's to win a football shirt and the other one is to win your season ticket money back. So let's get on with this one. I'm going to spin the wheel and see who wins. Well done to Ryan Jacks. You have just won yourself a case of beers. So we'll come back to the next one very, very shortly. We've got, as I say, a football shirt to win, and I'll do that just in a moment. I'm going to add Tom back in. So well done to Ryan Jacks, who's won himself a case of beer. It's like being on a game show, Tom, tonight.
Mate, you built that so well, mate. It was like the National Lottery.
Oh, I'm good with my balls, Tom. Let's get on. Andy says here, it looks like we're interested in the Moroccan midfielder. 39 million euros, pounds, I don't know. There's a lot of rumours. What do you reckon, Tom? You're shaking your head.
I think it's a lot of money for a kid. A kid that's got no Premier League experience, someone that hadn't really lit it up for...
Sorry, Tom, are you talking about Patson Daka there? You're talking about Patson Daka? A lot of money, no Premier League experience.
No, I would say a lot of money for Patson Daka. Was it
what,
28?
30 million?
Yeah, but
anyway, carry on.
My opinion, I just don't...
No.
That's a lot of money for a lot. He's a lot younger than Daka as well at the moment. But look, we can never say no in the Premier League. I just think at the moment in time, I think if we're going to lose the likes of... They're talking about Madison, possibly Madison next summer, possibly Tillemans next summer. Dennis Pratt goes in the summer. There's three very, very experienced players in my view. And if you're thinking we lose those three players and replace them with a kid, I think we could be in bigger trouble next season where at the beginning of this season. So I just think if we've got 30 to 40 million to talk about to go spend on the player, I just think there's probably more experienced, better players in the Premier League that you could go and tempt away from football clubs than bring in someone who's a lot younger, who might take a long time to settle in, and might not be anywhere, good enough, then go and get a player from, I don't know, Leeds. One of the clubs floating around. You got Adams there. You don't look a bad midfielder for me. The American who had a great World Cup. He could do a great job for Leicester in some ways. But I just think it's always very difficult to go and get a player who's never played in the Premier League and expect him to hit the ground running. And if we look at Samari and we look at Daka, they were told when we brought them, they're not here for the first season. It's going to take them a year to settle in. Well, we haven't got that time for a year to settle in if we're losing players left, right, and centre. What they're talking about.
Liam says here about Madison's Newcastle. I know Liam's a Newcastle fan. I think one of my fears with what's just happened with Madison, obviously he's been to the World Cup and effectively warmed the bench up, done some training, Tom. My biggest fear with him is that he's just spent best part of 30-something days with players from so-called big clubs who will be saying, you want more of this, Madders. And they all get on with Madders. He is one of those likeable characters. I'm sure that all sorts would have been saying, come and join us at Man City, at Newcastle, at wherever.
Oh, most definitely, mate. Kieran Trippier would have been in his ear, giving a little bit of come up to Newcastle.
I thought that.
You'd love your life up here and this, that, and the other. Look, the best thing Madison can do to call it off is sign a new 4-year contract with a release clause in it, so we know where we stand. But
he's not going to do that.
You can't see it happening, can you? You can see it coming down to either we keep him for 1 year, like we've done with Tillemans, big stubborn, and he'll go for a free, or you next summer is another one of those. You take the money when you got offered 60 million, like we got offered this time around, and you take it because you know that's not going to come back in January. Next summer is massive for this football club, not just on a financial note, but the turnover of players is going to be huge. If you're going to lose Tillemans on a free, and then Madison could possibly go, they are your two creative midfielders gone out the door before you even talk about a new season kicking off for them.
But does that mean, Tom, doesn't that mean exactly what you've said, that actually next summer, important, of course, it always is, but we've been woeful in the January transfer window. Do we not need to get ahead of the curve and maybe get, because we only signed Fez in the summer. That was it.
And Smithy's the experienced free goalkeeper.
That's such a waste of time. You've just wasted your breath even saying his name, Tom. But in January, for me, 3 or 4 Januaries on the trot, Ryan Bennett is the biggest name that we signed. This is one where I think we have to go in and say, we didn't do it in the summer, so we need to be one of those. If we don't sign somebody decent in January, Tom, for me, it's a massive mistake.
I think the last time we signed someone half decent in January, we're going all the way back to Wilfred and Diddy. That says it all. What was that? The 2016-2017 season. The season after we won the league was the season that January we signed a Diddy. And I remember watching his first game away at Everton in the FA Cup. That's a hell of a long time to go in a January transfer to sign actually someone half decent. So
yeah,
January can't come quick enough for me in some ways. So we can start looking at players. And there's already talk that there is going to be some money there for Rodgers to go and sign some players.
I
The
think so.
difference is transfer window now is coming up. We've got Martin Glover actually in the building, not
Yay!
been, where before, and we weren't allowed to talk to him until
Yeah.
talked to him until after the transfer window shut. That was great. Well, fair play to Southampton because they completely did want us.
But you'd like to think, Tom, then he's spent the last 4 or 5 months building up to January to make a signing. But Tom, before we get on to that, you know what it is? It's one more competition time, and then we're going to come back. Winner Leicestershire. I don't even know. Have you entered any of these, Tom?
I've entered the season ticket one.
Oh, yeah. You imagine if your name comes up in that, Tom. They're all going to shout fix. Listen, I'm going to let Tom go. And it is like Monday night is big prize night here on Leicester Fan TV. If you entered in to the win a shirt, I know we've had over 1,000 people enter into this. So there's 1,000 names in this little pile here. I'm going to give it a spin. So good luck to anybody who did. And then we'll end the show with the win your season ticket money back, which is 500 quid. So here we go. Well done to Nicola. Nicola McCorgan. Have I said that right? Nicola McCorgan, you've just won yourself a Leicester City shirt. Thanks to the guys at Pukka Pies. Just let us know, Nicola, if you want a home shirt, an away shirt, or a tea-coloured stained shirt. So well done to Nicola there. Let's get Tom back in for his last views, score predictions before. Tom, you didn't win that one either, mate.
That 20 quid didn't go down very well, did it, mate?
You got to be in it to win it, and it's not who you know, it's just
Exactly.
entering and the luck of the draw. So well done to Nicola there. The last one we're going to do just in a couple of minutes is to win your season ticket money back, which has took us a long way back. Keith saying, now you might remember this, Tom, it's not hit the bar, win a car it is. Do you remember all this sort of stuff that used to happen? I did ask the guys at Leicester City what has gone on with the halftime entertainment. Because I don't know if you remember, but nothing goes on at halftime now apart from watching the sprinklers.
You used to have like penalty competitions. You had the kids race running around the pitches. What was a good laugh because Birch used to do a great, a great thing at half time getting the crowd. You'd have penalties, hit the crossbar from the halfway line or the 18-yard box and stuff. It is, Paul. It's just like it's entertaining. Half time, few announcements, and that's it.
Half time is 10 minutes before half time, go and queue at the bar to get a drink and a pie. 10 minutes after half time, get that pie, shove it in your mouth, and drink your drink within 30 seconds. But that's another topic. Tom, are you going on Boxing Day? Are you allowed out to play?
I'm coming out to play on Boxing Day.
Me too. I normally get the, you're not going out to play on Boxing Day. It's Christmas. But this year, I don't know. It's the World Cup's actually helped. She's gone, oh, go on. You've not been to any football for a long time. So that should be good. Andy says they do throw T-shirts in the crowd at halftime. They do a bit of that. But I'd rather see. I used to like it when Birch brought out one of the old players, a bit of Stevie Lynex or somebody like that, and have a little chat, talk about the match.
That was good when they brought out the older players back at the older generation of players. Even when like Tim Flowers came up and stuff like that, or Matt Elliott came out and had a chat. It's always good to see players. Even when Esteban Cambiasso came back, it's great to see him on the pitch.
I don't get it because they've got the big screens, Tom. They've got cameras. You just think, even if you can't stand on the pitch because of the watering, you could stand somewhere. But hey, listen, as you clearly know, Leicester Fan TV don't run Leicester City Football Club, do we, Tom? But
we're not allowed to have an opinion.
No, we're not. Do they give out? Free season tickets and free shirts and free beer on the official Leicester channels?
They give anything free on there, mate.
No.
We're not for the fans, are they?
They're not for the fans, by the fans like we are. Tom, let's get score predictions from you for tomorrow night away at MK Dons.
Oh, do you know what? I'm going to go 4-0. I think we should be a comfortable win tomorrow night. I think it'll be a slow, steady burner to start with, I think. But once we get a couple of goals, the way franchise FC are doing this season, we should run away with it, you know what I mean? And I won't say the name because I don't agree with that football club at all, and that's why I haven't done a away fan show for someone else. Why don't we do one? I don't agree with the show. Don't agree with that club in any state. And someone said to me, "Yeah, but you're going there funding it." I'm going there because I want to watch Leicester play, and it's been 6 weeks since I've seen a game. I've got the urge now to go watch my boys in blue plays high as anything. I'm like a kid at Christmas waiting for tomorrow night now. I'm more excited for MK Dons away than for Christmas Day. That says it all.
Kaysen says 4-0 to Leicester. That's exactly the score prediction I went for, Kaysen. Really saying see you there tomorrow, Tom. So he'll see you there. And Jake's going. Ryan says 4-1 to us. I'd like to hope, Ryan, we've stopped letting the goals in now. Liam is saying MK Dons 0, Leicester 4. Even though, Liam, you're a Newcastle fan, thanks for that. Wayne is saying 3-0. Gav is saying 6-0 to Leicester. Rene is saying 2-0 or 4-0 to Leicester. Make your mind up, Rene. How many goals do you want? Come on, let's get that in there. Wayne says Steve Lynex, sound bloke, spoke to him a few weeks ago. He is a top geezer. He's quite often on Facebook and all that, isn't he? So that's good to see it. Joe saying hopefully it will be a good atmosphere. I don't know how many MK Don fan will be there, but it could easily be outnumbered by Foxes, Tom.
Oh, God, I think probably be more Foxy fans here than them. I think when I was looking today, they had sold quite a few tickets, but there were still quite a few gaps in the MK Dons seating areas all round the pitch. So, look, they probably have a few more fans, but I think the 6,500 travelling Leicester fans will make a hell of a racket after being away for football for 6 weeks. I think the old chants will be out and about.
Let's hope so. Rudy, hope you're well, Rudy. Where are you serving at the moment, Rudy? I know you're out there, often in Cyprus. I don't know where you're based now. Was it Dorset recently? Anyway, Rudy goes 5-0. Hope you're well, mate. Happy Christmas, Rudy. Ryan says, I would, but look at Ward's last game. Yes, it was to England, but still, that's why he went for the 4-1, Tom, because he thinks Ward's going to let one in. Why isn't Madders playing tomorrow? I think he's not back yet, is he?
I think last thing I saw on his Instagram, he was in Dubai somewhere, living it up and enjoying the sun on his back. So, because he's had a very, very stressful 4 to 5 weeks.
I'm just going to say, games, he's just done that in Qatar for 5 weeks.
Yeah, those minutes have taken the toll on his body beyond share. So yeah, he probably needs a rest, and he should be back for Newcastle, I'd hope.
A lot of fans. Paul's going 5-0. Mark's going 4-0. A lot of fans going for a high score, Tom. But I think the main thing, we all love the League Cup. Well, I certainly do, and I hope that this could be the one for us, Tom. A door into Europe, maybe.
2 things for me on this. One, it's a door into Europe. One, as a young lad, the League Cup games at Filbert Street, the penalty shoots out against Fulham and Arsenal, and the FA Cup against Arsenal, beating Leeds in the League Cup, I think, on penalties as well. We had some great years in the League Cup, in my view, and Filbert Street was always a great place to go for a League Cup game. Secondly, I'd love Vardy to get the full amount to win the League Cup now. Would finish off his cabinet to have the League Cup, the FA Cup, the Premiership, and a Community Shield. That would be a great way for him to see what happens over the next year and a year with Leicester next season. For him to finish off his career, even if it's in a year's time, that he has won the full set. There will never be a greater Leicester player in his history to do what he's done for this football club. So it'd be nice to see Vardy finish it off. And also, it's a bit like if he did it, Casper, it'd be a bit kicking the teeth for him that he left and not stayed around for it.
Listen, Tom, stick around if you want to. I'm going to just go through these competitions. We've given away already tonight a case of Everards beer, thanks to the team at Everards. We've given away a shirt, thanks to everybody at Pukka Pies. Thanks to them. Do you know what, though? Now we are going to give away your season ticket money back. So Tom is actually in this one. If it lands on your name, God help us, Tom, because it'll be such a fix. Which it isn't, because you'll say I'm spinning it. Yeah. But what we've done in this one is, if you're a season ticket holder, we'll give you up to 500 quid back to cover your season ticket. If you're not a season ticket holder, you can just you're going to get the cash whichever way round. Because obviously the club didn't give us a season ticket, but we'll pay for you one back. You get it, don't you, Tom? You understand the competition.
Definitely, mate. It's money. It's money.
Moolah. Right.
It's like Newcastle fans.
Right, I'm going to drop Tom out and I'm going to get this one spun. Again, this was absolutely, we were inundated with people entering to this. There was over 1,000 people entered to that. So well done to everybody who entered. Thanks to all the guys at Pink Car Leasing, Pukka Pies, ADT Taxis, Everards for helping do this. We are by the fans. We are for the fans. And we can't do it without a bit of help. If you run a local business and you do want to get involved with Leicester Fan TV, why not? Come and have a go with us. Listen, let me shut up and let's spin this. This is to win your season ticket money back. And here we go. Sue Bradshaw, you are the winner. Well done to Sue. It's not Tom. He's going to be upset. If that's you, Sue, I'm always pointing there. Is that you, Sue? Well done to you, Sue. You've won up to 500 quid, your season ticket money back. Let's go back. Tom is going to be upset. He's probably left already. Tom, it wasn't you. It was Sue. Sue!
Sue. Nah, fair play, Sue. Enjoy your £500 if you pay for your season ticket off, or if you're not, you've just got 500 quid for Christmas. You know, like I say, we're for the fans, by the fans, and enjoy your winnings. Anyone going to MK Dons, come and say hi. We'll always have a chat, you know, me, Reedy, Jake.
Come and chat with everybody who's
Ross,
there.
Come and have a chat with us. We're all having a laugh. It's going to be probably nice and nip cold tomorrow night, so we'll all have to have a roll and stand together.
And Tom, you are doing an away fan show for the Newcastle show before the Newcastle game. You're doing that live on Wednesday night, is that right?
Wednesday night, yes, live on Wednesday, building up to Newcastle. So it'd be good because at least we would have played a game by then, so we'll know where we're at. But yeah, come and join us. Got Chloe on, and we'll have a good chat with her about Newcastle United. Well, incredible season so far.
Fantastic, Tom. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you on Wednesday night or tomorrow night. Thanks a lot. Cheers, mate.
Thanks, mate. Get well soon, Jamie. You know, we understand you're struggling, so get well soon, mate. All right.
Yeah, well said. Thanks, Tom. He's right, you know. Jamie, not well at all yesterday morning on a Sunday morning. Our thoughts are with him, his wife, and obviously that big pile of puke that's in the corner of the Fox's arms after his session. Thanks for all your views. Let's see if we've got a final view. Ryan says, good luck to all. And then he says, well done to Sue. Kaysen says, hope to see all the lads who are going to have a good Christmas and a safe journey. Thank you to that. Do we have to chat to Ross, says Keith. Keith, yes, you do. If you see Ross, make sure you chat with him. He'll speak for about 25 minutes. 24 and a half minutes of it will probably be nonsense, Keith, but it's always entertaining. Listen, thanks as ever to everybody who's had a comment, got involved with the show. I'll be back. Well, I won't be back on Monday night because it's Christmas night, but I will be back. We'll be doing lots of lives over the next couple of weeks, over the Christmas period. Keep tuned and follow us wherever you are on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, at Leicester Fan TV. Thanks for your time tonight. We'll see you all soon.
Thanks for watching Leicester Fan TV. Thanks to our sponsors, ADT Taxis, Everards, Pukka Pies, Pink Car Leasing, Leicester Riders, Hollogram, The Fox's Arms, Peter's Pizzeria, Hope Against Cancer, and Newby Co estate agents. Make sure to follow us on all of our social channels at Leicester Fan TV. Visit our website, leicesterfantv.com.